The true story of the Detroit Coney dog deserves to be properly memorialized. It stretches from the Old World mountains of Greece to the New World boulevards of America. It has prospered and multiplied and changed what and how Americans eat, and all the while become a cultural touchstone of the Motor City.
It begins in the impoverished village of Dara, when 16-year-old Konstantinos Kyriakopoulos is sent down the mountain by his father. Yes, his name was George too, to the docks of Patra to make his way in America. Gust buys a ticket, boards the Francisca, and lands at Ellis Island in November 1906.
Coming home from Coney Isle by Len Spencer and Ada Jones.
There is a time, the summertime, a time without the rest, where breezes blow that way.
The owner of a single pair of shoes and unable to get much going, young Gust heads to Detroit, but not before the teenager sets his dark eyes upon the electric lights of Coney Island, Brooklyn. He becomes intoxicated by its sounds and smells, its loop-the-loop roller coaster, Tilly's Ferris wheel, and Charles Feltman's Coney Island hot dog emporium. Gus shines shoes, pushes popcorn on Belle Isle, and sweeps shops. He sends for his younger brother, Vasilios Billy Karos, who makes his way down in 1910, boards the SS Themistocles, and finds his way to his brother in boomtown Detroit. Gus and Billy try their hand in the automobile and pickling plants, but settle on hat repair and shoe shining at a small storefront at 115 Michigan Avenue near Lafayette Boulevard. They install a grill in the corner where they roast hot dogs for sale. The hot dogs catch on after Gus adds a homemade meat sauce, a proprietary recipe that is still used today. Remembering his time in Brooklyn, Gus christens his creation Coney Islands in 1917, the same year alcohol is outlawed in Michigan. Business is good at the new American Coney Island, helped along by the speakeasy and gambling tables in the basement. So good, in fact, that Billy opens his own joint directly next door in 1929, calling it Lafayette Coney Island. It is an amicable relationship. The brothers prosper and have children. Gus, the American Coney King, begets George and Chuck and Joe and Ray. Billy, the Lafayette Coney King, begets George and Tony and John. That makes 2 Georges and 2 Coney Islands on the same block, along with the arcade bar, also owned by Gus. Eventually, Lafayette George assumes the crown from his father, Billy. Likewise, Chuck inherits the American kingdom from Gust. Meanwhile, Gust's oldest son, George, lands in France during the Normandy invasion with the American armed forces, then falls in love with a Parisian woman. He lives there for a few years, appears in a few French B films, falls out of love with the Parisian woman, returns to Detroit, only to find his brother has inherited the store. As a consolation, George is given the corner bar. Meanwhile, Chuck sends for his cousin back in Greece. His name too is George, and with Chuck's help, cousin George from Greece opens his own Coney Island in the suburbs of Detroit. But he is another George for another time. Lafayette George eventually sells his diner to his employees, who are neither Karoses nor Georges, but rather Ali and Abdijah. Lafayette George is survived by his sons Bill and Stephen, his daughters Leslie, Sandra, and Madeline, and 5 grandchildren. Much has been made of the family feud between American and Lafayette Coney Islands, but it has been wildly overstated, says Bill Karos, the son of Lafayette George. I used to be sent out on the street to steal customers from American, he recalls. Believe me, it wasn't hard. But we're family. We've always loved each other. To which his cousin, Grace Carroll, the current queen of American Coney Island and the daughter of Chuck, responds, "Yeah, we love each other, but they were trying to steal customers. How nice was that after all we did for them?" In Detroit, Charlie LaDuff, No Bullshit News.